Hi, Washington Middle School families. This is Mr. Holder. This presentation is about Cadet Band, and that's a group for our sixth grade band students. This year we have the band split into two different classes. The second period class is all of the brass instruments, so trumpet and trombone and baritone and French horn and tuba. The sixth period class is for all the woodwind instruments and percussion. This year, we have a treat at the beginning of the year. For the first few months, we also have a student teacher with us. So the kids will be getting a 2-for-1 band teacher special. Miss Quillen is our student teacher. So here's a little bit about me. I grew up in Olympia. I went to Olympia schools. I went to Roosevelt and Reeves and Olympia High School. And then I've also been teaching in the Olympia School District since 1994. I started teaching in Olympia High School, so I have some high school band teaching experience. I've taught fifth grade band for the last 28 years every year. And for the last, after I left Olympia High School, I was at Jefferson Middle School for about 20 years. And last year was my first year at Washington Middle School. So in addition to being a band teacher for quite a while, I've also done a lot of private instruction in the area on trumpet in particular. And my own 4 kids have gone through the Olympia School District music program and through Washington Middle School, and they've been in band at Washington Middle School. So I try to combine all of those worlds into one for the students. I bring a parent perspective, so I know what it's like to have kids in band in middle school and high school. I know what it's like to teach high school band. I know what it's like to teach beginning band. And I've got even the perspective as a private instructor. So I try to bring all that together for the kids and give lots of different ways to learn and lots of different ways for me to reach the kids. Miss Quillen is just finishing up her studies at Western Washington University. She's a flutist, and she'll be getting her education degree when she's done with student teaching. Here is a little bit of information about what we need for band. So there will be a list up in Schoology if you have access to Schoology. If you don't, you need to get access to Schoology. There'll be some links to our performance calendar, to a list of supplies. But I want to point out for sure, if you haven't gotten it yet, we need a book for band. Both cadet bands, the woodwind and brass class, will be using Essential Elements Book 2. It's a great book to use. It does have an online component that comes free with the book. So you'll have access to the Essential Elements Interactive website, which is a fun way for kids to practice. And with any of these band supplies, if your family needs some help getting those supplies, paying for the supplies, happy to help with that. Feel free to send me an email, or even if you just have some questions about exactly what to get or how to get it. This year, we're hoping we'll have some performances. In the event that we do have performances, our first performance for the Cadet Band is scheduled in December, a winter concert. We're going to get all dressed up and try to look uniform and professional. So wanted to give you plenty of time, heads up on what to check your closets for. Everyone's going to wear a white, long-sleeved shirt on the top, either a collared shirt or a blouse, and we want it to be long sleeve. And then on the bottom half, we're going to wear either black dress pants or a long black skirt, at least past the knees. And then to complete the uniformity, black shoes and black socks. I'm not sure I've had a middle school band concert yet where everyone has black socks. Maybe this is the year. And again, if you need any help or you have questions about how to get those uniform pieces, please feel free to ask. We have a lot of kids when they leave Washington Middle School will launder their items and leave those for other kids that need them. So I know kids grow fast, and so if you need some help with that, please let us know sooner rather than later. Here's just a brief overview of the things we're going to be learning in class. We had obviously a very strange year last year. If you had band in the Olympia School District as a fifth grader, it was all on Zoom. It's not a great way to teach band. Some kids did a great job surviving it and using all those resources. For me as a teacher and for a lot of kids, it was really difficult to learn a brand new instrument virtually. It was quite a challenge. So we have a little bit of catching up to do, perhaps with some technique. And I know we have some brand new band students in the class that didn't do any band at all last year. So we're going to spend a lot of time on technique development, like how do we put it together even? How do we form our face? How do we hold it? Reviewing some of those fundamental things. The better they get at their instrument, obviously, the more fun it's going to be. So it's this circle that we just put some energy into, and we get a little bit of practice and develop those techniques, and it becomes more and more fun. We also spent the whole last year, even our older groups, and even myself as a professional musician, we spent the whole last year not playing together with others. So it's a whole new set of skills to try to remember how to play together. For some of these kids, they've never made music with an instrument with other people. So that's a whole nother set of skills we'll be working on, listening and playing together. We really are hoping to be able to perform this year. So we'll be doing some preparation for several concerts. And then learning an instrument is one of the best things to develop this concept of grit, really sticking to it, not giving up, embracing the challenges, embracing the frustration that you know is going to come from learning an instrument. I always tell kids I started playing the trumpet in 1980 in fifth grade at Roosevelt Elementary School. And there's not very many times that I've been practicing or playing my trumpet where there isn't a moment of frustration. There's lots of moments of fun, but almost every time there's also moments of frustration. So it is sort of a lifetime of challenge to play a musical instrument. And we'll also do a lot of talking about, why are we doing this? Is this fun? Do you want to share your music with people? What is your why for wanting to play music and learn about music? The grading, got to talk about this. We'll be giving grades in band. That's a little bit different from our fifth grade band life last year. A lot of our class is based on participation. Show up, bring the things you need, bring your instrument, bring your mouthpiece, bring your reed, bring your music, participate fully in class, follow directions, those things. That's a 30% chunk of their grade. Homework, you'll need to practice if you want to get better. So we'll keep track of practice in a notebook. It's not going to be so much how many minutes they practice, but more what are the kids practicing? Are they making progress? Are they reaching their goals and improving? We will have some in-class playing tests. We want kids to get used to playing for other people. That's part of the fun of being a musician, is sharing your music. So it's stressful for a lot of kids at first to be able to feel vulnerable enough to play in front of others. But it is a skill we want them to work on. So we'll start out the tests pretty simple. They'll get a little more complicated. So the tests are sort of meant to induce a little bit of stress and a little bit of motivation to practice. If that ever starts to feel like too stressful, please feel free to send me an email, and we can do some other ways of testing initially until they start to feel more comfortable with performing in front of others. And then you do get a grade for attending the concerts. Again, there's a concert schedule that's posted in Schoology that gives the whole list of all the performance dates we have for the school year. There's only 3 or 4 dates that the cadet bands will be involved in. So if any of those dates, check those dates out. If any of them you have conflicts on, just send me an email and we'll try to figure something out. Okay, lastly, how do you help your musician? I know a lot of you maybe didn't play a band instrument yourself. Maybe you weren't in a school music group. Some of you were. It's tough as a parent, I know, even as a musician parent and a music teacher parent, it's tough to help your kids practice and give encouragement. So that's the number one rule is if you can be encouraging to your young musician, you're going to hear some crazy sounds coming out of those instruments, we hope, at home. Just encourage them mostly to embrace the challenges, know that there's going to be frustration, and get past those frustrations and stick with it and keep on practicing. Part of your successful practicing at home is going to be logistics. Is there a place that they can practice? Do they have a quiet place? Is there a place where they can keep their instruments safe from little brothers and sisters and pets? Is there a music stand at home? So we want to get them set up logistically and physically for success too. And if you have questions, please ask the questions, send an email. Ask your kids questions about how it's going in band. Ask them to play for you. Request mini concerts. Maybe they can even sell tickets for a concert. or do some Zoom concert. We had some good times doing that last year. So stay involved, ask questions. I always tell parents, if you never hear your student practicing at home, it's probably because they're never practicing. They don't necessarily always practice when you're not there. So ask some questions. If you need help with the practicing, or if you have any questions about how that works, feel free to send me an email. So that's sort of the basics of Cadet Band. If you have any questions throughout the year, band is meant to be fun. It's supposed to be a fun class for kids. There are some challenges, but we want this to be a fun elective class in their schedule. So if the class isn't fun and they have some concerns, please let me know. That's what I want. I want this to be a fun experience for your students and for the families too. So feel free to send me an email. I work at 5 different schools. I'm at Washington Middle School in the morning and 6th period. And then in the middle of the day, I'm out at 4 different elementary schools. So email is by far the best way to reach me. Feel free to send me an email if you have any questions. Thanks a lot. We're looking forward to a fun year making music.